I thought we have to co-host this. I think Joey Enriquez wasn't able to make it after all, so I asked Alyssa Poma to help co-host this, and she's waving at you. We will be putting everybody on mute except the speaker, Lesley Lundgren, who I'll introduce in a moment. And then it would be best if you would also put your screen in what's called speaker mode, active speaker mode, rather than the gallery mode, because then the speaker will show up in the larger part of your screen. I am sharing the PowerPoints that we'll be using tonight. I'll enlarge them even further.
It's a little reception for a show that have a paint.
But yeah, make sure that all of you are on mute right now. And what else do I need to tell them, Melissa?
Oh, I think you covered it. We are recording this session. And I can also, if you'd like, Anastasia, use the spotlight function so that Leslie's, when Leslie's speaking, her face is fixed on the screen. So
Okay.
We'll do that to make it easier for everyone. And if we'll monitor you to maintain everyone on mute, feel free to use the raised hand button if you'd like to ask a question, or type it into the chat box and we'll make sure that Lesley sees that.
Right. Any questions before we get started? All right, well, with that, let me introduce Lesley Lundgren. I met Lesley a couple of years ago. She may or may not remember, when I was part of the DC Women's Art Group. And she is the director of exhibitions at the Strathmore Museum, and it's not a museum, the Strathmore Mansion, excuse me. And there have been some fabulous exhibits there. And some of our artists, in particular, Jen Barlow has exhibited there, and just wonderful place to go see exhibits. And she agreed then to judge our show and reviewed all of the 73 images that you all sent in. And she's going to talk about that, and then we will start the actual awards. So Lesley, over to you.
Thank you, Anastasia. I'm really happy to be here tonight. Thank you for asking me. This is my first Zoom panel discussion. I hope that everybody can hear me okay. It's a little daunting to be participating, but I'm really happy to be here, and I hope that I can share something that will be of value to everybody. The first thing I wanted to say was thank you for your artwork. I cannot express how wonderful the sensation was to sit down with the computer one night and look through the 73 pieces in the show. I hope that I can express clearly enough what a refuge it was to escape from the news and the storms and just sit back and watch and look at beautiful places and lovely vignettes and beautiful scenes of green life and people buying flowers and people walking little paths. I cannot thank the artists enough for the solitude that I felt and the peace I felt that evening. And I've gone back several times to look at the work again, and I just can't thank you enough. I'm very appreciative for that peace of mind that was offered to me that evening. So I guess I'd like to go through the pieces and answer any questions, and I'm happy to talk about anything that would be helpful to the group. Anastasia, I can see you're saying something, but I can't hear you.
You should be able to see it went to the wrong pages.
Oh, okay. All right.
So we're starting now.
Oh, okay, thank you. So I've selected this white oak home by Jen Edison as an honorable mention. This is oil and cold wax. I think it's on, let me take a peek here and see, on wood. This piece, I love the imagination here. I love to see the oak leaf that's resting on top of this beautiful countryside view of the structure in the back that's just kind of hidden there among the trees, and this beautiful sky that is a wonderful wash of texture. And I think it's always great when you're viewing plein air to get a sense of the time period that the artist has to make the work, and the fast pace at which they're making it. It's a very fluid picture, and I was impressed with it right away. So you ready to move on to the next slide?
Are people seeing the picture because the painting? Because I'm not.
You're not seeing, there should be, you should have two views. You on the left side, you should see the images, and on the right side, you should be seeing Lesley.
Should I tap share screen?
No, that's for a presenter.
Oh, I'm only seeing Lesley.
Are you on an iPad?
I'm on my Mac, my computer.
Okay. In the top of your screen, there you should have a button that says gallery view or speaker view.
Yeah.
Try clicking on that. It might toggle your screen so that you can see it. But we're good. Anastasia, you can advance the slides.
Yeah, I tried to and it wasn't doing it, but yeah.
Okay.
All right. Another honorable mention goes to Playing with Susan, Susan's by Susan Friend. This piece is just joyful and playful, and again, capturing a moment in the outdoors, and with fabric and paper. It's just so joyful, and you're just drawn into this beautiful little landscape and the structure behind it. What I thought was great is this wonderful diagonal that's moving from the left corner up into midway point of the work. And I'm peeking into a window there, and the curtains remind me of cyanotypes, which I just loved that. So this piece brought a smile to my face right away. I really do like to see plein air artists that are working in mediums other than oil and pastel and watercolor. Those are the really fun ones to take with you outdoors. But if you're working with paper outside, I think, wow, that's adventurous. So kudos to you, Susan. I'm ready for the next one. Okay, next is Exit to Homestead by Patrick, I want to say Sieg, is that right? Great. This is a beautiful depiction with a lovely foreground, middle ground, and then our little vanishing point. This is a road to anywhere, on the way home or on the way to visit someone that you haven't seen for a while. This is your setting. This is your perfect day on a perfect drive. And the color theory is just fascinating. So we have these beautiful, rich yellows that are on the ground, and they almost spring up to the blues in the sky. These wonderful clouds that are just moving through space so wonderfully. It's a great composition. his trees are amazing, along with that fence line that's running through there. Any wider and the composition wouldn't work. Any taller and the sky would be completely out of proportion and set everything off kilter. So it was just beautifully rendered as far as the composition and the color theory goes. I think it's a beautiful piece. I'm ready for the next one. Okay, Twyla Wadi, Sunset on the Mall. I love this work. I love it for the curvature. I love it for the color theory. I know exactly where this place is, of course, even without the title. There is so much that rides on an artist when they're working with a place that is, so famous. And you can't get much more famous than the Washington Monument here in town. And this artist has really taken the idea of placing that kind of off center and then running this beautiful, thick, rich, black line down underneath and moving it up. And that outline is just everything. It's wonderful. And using that outline again on the African American Museum of Arts and Culture, it's just great. There's a wonderful brushy quality about this that I love, but it also looks like it's just wet. And it's perfect. It's a lovely piece. And yeah, I don't know what else to say about it. It's one of my favorites in the show. Okay, I'm ready for the next one. All right, the third place. I can't exactly see the title. There we go. Northside Social Cafe by Rahendra KC. I hope that I've said the name correctly. Oh, good. Some people are nodding at me. That's great. So watercolor is a medium that I'm familiar with, and I just think that this is a bang up job watercolor work. It's wonderful. It's everything that you want your watercolor to do. It's restrained where it needs to be, very sharp, and then it flows and puddles where it needs to. That sky is beautiful. The foreground is lovely. The shadows are amazing. And the figures walking to us, they're caught up as if it's in a photograph. This is so hard to do. I don't know how many sittings you had to get the saturation of hue and to work with the bleeds, but it's technically a beautiful piece, and it just takes me there. I just had a great reaction to this, and it's beautiful. I want to be there. I want to sit outside. So thank you. Let's go on to the second place. All right, Early Bloom by Kathleen. I'm sorry, Kathleen. Zigfang oil.
It's Xifang.
Xifang. Thank you, Kathleen.
You're welcome.
This is a beautiful piece. I adore, again, this black line, this very brushy quality, but that pop of red in there is just breathtaking. And I also feel like I'm looking at this piece maybe as I'm rushing by it, perhaps in a vehicle, or maybe this just is a quick view before having to run someplace, and you just get a moment to really reflect on it. It's great. The light, the sense of light here bouncing off of maybe a windy setting, and the tree branches that are just kind of falling through the wind. And again, I just am so impressed with the color theory that all of the artists use, but this is just beautiful. I don't know if I'm looking at a city street or a sidewalk. I don't care. I just want to be there. It's so beautiful. So yeah, so this was second place for me. All right, I'm ready for first place. The C&O Canal by Christina Weber. This piece, I have to recall when I saw it in full screen mode, the palette knife, I'm assuming that it's palette, the beautiful lines and the wonderful texture was just a joy. The trees in the background and how the foliage kind of falls from the foreground to the background, and the sky emerging in this beautiful V. It's just a great composition that moves the viewer's eye. We're pulled into the water, we're pulled to the shoreline, we're pulled out into that vanishing point. The portrayal of light is exquisite, and the color, the little touches of orange among that turquoise, and that clear blue with just a touch of cloud coming down. It's amazing. I don't know if this was painted quickly or if if Christina agonized over every detail, but it's just perfection. It looks like it just came in an exuberant moment, and yeah, it was my favorite, and it was very easy to pick a first place with this show, with this entry. So I'm happy to answer any questions at this point, or move along to comments from the artists.
Lesley, can you tell us a little bit about your work at Strathmore?
Sure, I'd be happy to. I have been at Strathmore for about 6 years. I'm the exhibitions director here. My job has two parts to it. The fun, enjoyable part is looking at artwork from artists and putting a schedule together to complement what's going on in the community with what is moving artists and inspiring artists. And the other part of the job that is not so much fun is dealing with the logistics of putting shows up on a rotating basis. So there's a lot of calendar work, there's a lot of data entry and scheduling. We have a active house in the mansion here. We have concerts and events and meetings that go on. So trying to make everything work seamlessly is one part of the job. I wish I could spend 100% of my time just working with artists, but got to get the structure in place so that everything that the artist does once it hits the wall is received well by the public. We do have some programs at Strathmore. We do opening receptions generally. We also have tours of the exhibitions, and I do the tours. And then we have an artist in fiction book club, which is a program for the general public where we take a book, a fictional account of a story involving an artist, and we look at what is historically true about the story and then the fictional structure. And it allows people easy access into the world of art if that has been an intimidating subject for them in the past.
And is the facility open again?
We are open by appointment. We open to the general public on September 8th. We have 3 shows: the Paperworks exhibition, which is art that is made from paper. And we have Wool Gathering, which is an artist named Sheena Comstam. She does felting structural work, and it's sculptures and 2-dimensional pieces. And then we have in our invitational gallery an emerging artist, and that exhibition is called Modulation and Harmony.
Does anyone have any questions for Lesley about her career or about any of the artwork in this show? Did we want to have some of the artists speak about their works, Anastasia?
I think that would be great. I don't know if Christina is on.
I don't see her, unfortunately.
Okay. How
We have
about
Twyla, we have Susan.
how about Kathleen? I think is on because we heard her give us the correct pronunciation of her last name. Kathleen, do you want to talk for a second?
Unmute myself. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes,
Hi,
good.
Kathleen.
Hi, I'm just so honored. Thank you. This is amazing. This was the very beginning of the COVID lockdown, and it was early spring, and there's a beautiful tree, cherry tree it's really over a garage out in the alley.
Oh,
And so that's about as far as I ventured at that point in time. But I was really enjoying the fact that the branches looked so sort of Japanesque themed, and just sort of enjoyed doing that. And it was a fast painting, as you kind of attributed to.
yeah. It's just beautiful. The balance of this tree, it makes me want to see the actual photograph.
Yeah, well, I actually did that out on my porch looking at the actual tree. So I don't
Oh,
I didn't do a photo originally.
I'm sorry, I misspoke. I would like to see a photograph of the actual tree.
Yes, I know what you mean. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a beautiful tree. It does have all these branches going every which way.
Oh yeah, it's just, and just that paint is just so touchable. I mean, it looks like it's probably 4 inches deep.
Yeah, there was a lot of paint.
Well,
and a lot, just trying to make some nice colors for the depth that would contrast with the darkness of the branches, and then the lightness of the early buds coming out.
well, it's very successful.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Wondering if we can go to Twyla.
Sure.
Twyla, can you tell us a little bit about your composition, why you made the compositional choices that you did, as far as where you placed the museum building, where you placed the monument?
Sure. Hi, everybody, and thank you. It was because I was on a National Mall, and I was trying to catch it at sunset, which is very hard because sunset is something that's constantly changing as you're trying to paint. So I was trying to, get everything set up, and I got there like at 5, and I started painting the scene throughout the day. So this is the third one I painted that day. And it was the trying to catch everything as the sun was setting. And I was trying to make sure that you could tell they was the National Mall, because I know you have the Washington Monument and the Black History Museum, but you didn't want to look like there's 2 stick figures there or a big boat. So I just kept trying different things until I got to where you could see the slant, and you can have that look where you can tell that scene from National Mall were between the Washington Monument and the Capitol.
Cool.
Did that answer your question, or?
Yes, thank you.
Lovely.
Painting plein air is hard. I haven't done it very often.
Uh-huh.
I'm usually in the studio, so this was a good experiment. But like I said, trying to catch a sunset with something that's constantly changing is not an easy thing.
Right.
So,
Well, the line work is beautiful.
thank you.
And that line, it is so thick and rich, and it's a great choice.
Thank you. Because I did 2, and I said, well, should I try one more? And I said, yes, let me try one more. And I got this just as I allowed the light, because the light was going pretty quickly at some point.
Yeah.
And I was trying to finish it up and still be able to see.
Oh,
So,
I'm glad you did. Yeah. Good choice.
Thank you.
And maybe the benefit of painting during plein air during a pandemic is you didn't have many tourists hounding
Yeah.
you.
Right.
I was surprised how few people there were. There was enough room for everybody on the National Mall to actually spread out. Because there were some people who were there to actually see the sunset.
Mhm.
So, but there's enough room so you can spread out and you don't have to worry about being too close to anybody.
Right.
So I didn't want to make it too simple, but I didn't have enough time to do a lot of detail. I still want people to be able to see what it was.
Yeah.
Can we go to Susan next? Hi, Susan.
Hi.
Can you tell us about your work? And I think we're all dying to know, were you sitting outdoors with cut paper?
Mhm.
I definitely was. This is in my yard. It
Okay.
is, I went around the yard thinking where would be a good place to attempt this. I had never tried this. It's mostly fabric. The only paper part is the little strips that are the mortar. That is paper. And everything else is fabric. So I was out there with, when I chose the scene to begin with, I went inside and then chose the colors that I thought would probably be best and made my kit to take it outside, and had all this, these scraps of fabric and some paper and glue, and started to work. And it took me several mornings. This was in the morning, but it was impossible to get the light, with the fabric. So I gave up on that and just tried to get the texture and the form. So that's what I was working with. I'd never done anything like this before, but I thought, why not? So I had a lot of fun.
Oh, good. Yeah. Yeah. I'd say keep attempting, because this is a beautiful piece.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Well, I think I think all the people that have received awards that were here have spoken, unless I've missed anybody. And we will go ahead and wrap up tonight. And thank you all for participating in this exhibit and for participating in all of our online exhibits. They're going really well. We will be sending you the social media kit so that you can share that with your friends, so that they will come to the MAA site and look at the work. And we are about to launch our next exhibit. We're having one a month this year, which will be the portraits exhibit. And registration for that will begin the 12th of September. But this is a great show, 73 pieces, and have all your friends and family come look at it. And thank you for
Congratulations,
participating.
everyone.
Yes, congratulations, everyone. Bravo.
Lesley, thank you so much for lending your words and your eye and selecting pieces or the awards for this show. We really appreciate it. And I think I can speak for everyone in saying how much we value having the Strathmore in our community, and hope that we can all come by sometime soon and
Yeah.
to have some more connections to art, because I think we especially need it.
We miss you. And I just want everyone to experience what I felt recently when I was looking at this show. I just cannot thank the artists enough for that peace of mind. And thank you, Alyssa and Anastasia, and hoping to see all the artists soon at Strathmore or out in the community.
Great.
Great.
Well, thank you, everyone. This concludes our event, and we hope everyone has a nice evening. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
Bye.